Welcome. Welcome back to the Build Show. I'm your host over here at the Empower Gaming Studio. I think we started before 9 p.m., which is a plus. Personally, that is a win for me. Trying to start these around 8, and had a couple of PCs in here for service that I didn't get started on until about 6. And you know the story. Every day, same thing. But we're back again. At least we maintain the schedule. Ant-Man, welcome back to the Build Show over there on the YouTube. Chris, welcome back to the Build Show. Chris says, I hate negative talk. I've spoken to the tech at Best Buy. I want to build a computer. He said it will be very pricey to do it on your own, then buy it outright at the store. What is your suggestion? So, negative talk. Before we get started on Bradley's build here. Regarding Chris, your question, they are probably correct right now. And the reason why is because the prices of the system integrators components have not hit the Ramageddon prices yet. So you're looking at pre-Ramageddon pricing on probably most of the pre-builds, except for some of the newer stuff that's being shipped out as of probably today. So if you're looking at Ramageddon prices on computers, you'll notice it's pretty close to the same as if you were to build it. But they're probably not wrong. You could probably save a good amount of money. If you do happen to have, Chris, a Micro Center nearby you, definitely go to Micro Center and look at the Power Spec series before you buy anything from Best Buy. Not sure if you have a Micro Center near you or now. It's some giant idiot. Yes, as NVIDIA says. Actually, no. This one we made up, I guess. Buy now and save. And then NVIDIA says and recommends the more you buy, the more you save. What's up, Steve? Welcome back to the Build Show. Onra. Sad times we are, yes. Welcome back to the Build Show. I know, it's depressing. We actually bought most of these components about 15 days ago. We were waiting on... There's a funny story on this particular build, because we got this card for $699.99, which isn't a bad price for the Nitro Plus. Yes, it's a 9070 XT, but it is the Nitro Plus Sapphire, which is one of the better versions of the card, if not the best version of the card. It's just got a massive cooler on it and a little bit of flashy RGB on it. But I mean, the cooler is really what you want. And this is also the overclocked edition. So it's not just the standard one. So it's like the cream of the crop, basically, of the 9070 XTs. So they're really hard to get. So $699.99 for this one was actually a really good deal. We just had to wait for it because it wasn't actually in stock when we ordered it. Wait. This actually came before everything else, and everything else was supposed to come before that. So everything else showed up except for the case, even the graphics card that was supposed to be like a massive delay. So I was kind of shocked when that showed up with everything else. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the case got stuck in limbo. So after, just like the last build, the RAM was stuck in limbo and just randomly showed up. The case did the same thing. So after I went out and bought a case from Micro Center to get this build because I was like, I'm going to schedule it for Wednesday and we're going to do it. So I went and got the case from Micro Center, and next thing you know, the case shows up. So now I got two of these cool 217 cases here with the wood. It's a unique case, so it's not one that I could just like slap stuff in and sell. What's up, Chefy Tech? Welcome back to the Build Show over on the Twitch side. It's been an absolute crazy day. I sold every computer I had. Wow, that is dope. That's awesome, man. Congratulations on making all those sales. Onra, not upgrading an AM5 till 2027, and let's hope better times. I don't know if it's going to get any better. I think it's only going to get worse. Supply drying up, dollar value dropping. Seriously, buy now. You know, it's a good point. It's some giant idiot has a really good point. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. So if you're looking to do an upgrade and you're waiting on buying these parts, you might be waiting for a year plus. It's not going to get better. At least that's my prediction. I can't say I can see the future, but I can tell you or predict based on how the past has occurred and how things are occurring currently, it is not going to look good over the next 6 months to a year. If it gets worse, then I'm not upgrading until 2030. Oh, man. Is Bradley in the chat? I don't know. I did make him aware that we were live. I gave him a heads up earlier today that we were going to be live today. So he has all of the information that he needs to be here. So I don't know if he's working or maybe he's out to dinner. I don't know. Really need to deal with my stream PC. I have a fan that's dying in. And before Roy pops in and says it's because it's dirty, he's 100% correct. But I don't want to. I don't want to give Roy the satisfaction that I have a dying fan because it's dirty. My stream PC desperately needs to be cleaned and desperately needs to be upgraded. I haven't gotten to it. So, and here I am cleaning everybody else's computers, which is why mine looks the way it is. The last thing I want to do is deal with mine. I've been lazy. And in my defense, I was going to make a how to clean your PC YouTube video, and that video keeps getting slid down the priority list. So now I have a really dirty PC. And one of the fans is dying, and it's like, and I give it a little tap, and it stops for about 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah. What I do. So, you know, you guys know. A few of you definitely have been here before. I had a dead fan on my tour. Tore my PC apart today, cleaning and maintenance today, too. I need to do that. At least replace the fans if I'm not going to do the upgrades. That's what I'm trying to do, is like limping it along until I actually do the upgrade, the rebuild. That I just don't want to tear this apart. And then I have to clean it. Ugh. I'm so upset if my card is bad because, hey, what's up, Tony? Welcome back to the build show. So upset if my card is bad because it'll be hard to find another one. Even the 5080 Astro is gone. Don't worry about having to find another one. You have the card, Tony, so you could actually RMA that back if it was the Asus Astro. You could RMA that back to Asus and they'll give you a replacement or repair it. And you'll maintain the same warranty. So you're perfectly safe because you have the card. And sometimes if Asus doesn't have the product on hand and they can't ship you an equal product, they will ship you a better product. So like, let's say they don't have a 5070 Ti in stock, they'll ship you a 5080 Astral, being the same series. You just have to go through the RMA process, and that's kind of a slow, painful process. Sometimes that takes a couple of weeks because you got to ship it to them, and you do have to pay for shipping, I think, usually to get it there. But they'll pay for shipping back to you, and depending on, you know, the RMA department and how long it takes to get through that, they'll test the card, come back with a repair status or replace status, and then send out the replacement or do the repair and send out the repaired card. Holy smokes, I can't talk all of a sudden. The next upgrade from the 5080 Astral is the 5090 Tough. Hey, wouldn't be bad, would it? Buy a 5070 Ti, end up with the 5090, even if it's a Tough versus an Astral. Astral. Ant-Man says same. Not upgrade. Yeah, yep. What's up, Tony? Ant-Man says. I'm actually just tuning in. Bradley has joined us over on the YouTube chat. If anybody is looking to chat with Bradley about this PC, we haven't even started talking about his PC yet, other than the story about the graphics card in the case. Yeah. Ant-Man's asking, what games are you going to be playing? Bradley came back and said he's going to be playing Arma, Star Citizen. Been playing a lot more single-player games like Ghost of... Oh, yeah, that's a good one. God of War. So it'll be nice to see them in such nice quality. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bradley, how much is your PC going to run on price? His was in the not cheap department. Yeah, I was going to let him answer that question. His build, on top of all the components here, with pre-Armageddon, Ramageddon prices, or no, not pre, during Ramageddon prices and storage prices. Oh, I forgot we have two. Something's not right here, is it? We definitely didn't order two 4TB M.2 NVMe's, did we? Well, which one do you want? Wait, I just caught on. I'm like, wait a second. I'm so bad at this game. All right, so Bradley. Here, let me get my face out of the way. Hey, what's up, Ian? So Bradley, you do have a choice. I mistakenly purchased, because I'm terrible at this game, two different 4TB M.2 drives for you. You want the 990 Pro, or I'm sorry, 990 Evo Plus, or do you want the T-Force Pro G70? I thought it was G710, but it's G70. Whatever one you don't want is going in my streaming rig, because apparently I accidentally bought two. And I'll just keep it and throw it in my rig. No wonder Steve was messaging me. What the hell was this? Because these are like $400 right now. Just the best just to bite the bullet. Yeah, you may as well just bite the bullet and get it done. Benefit is that you have the 2-year warranty on all of this too. So, good morning. Dealer's choice, whichever is better in your opinion. So the better option is definitely going to be the 990 Evo Plus by Samsung. We can get the Magician software on there, so we can monitor the drive and all that. So I'll leave you with the better one. And I'll take the Pro G70 T-Force by Team Group. And I'll throw that in my stream rig. So there we go, guys. Our storage is sorted out for us. This is how my builds are built. Whoops, I bought this by mistake. I'll just throw it in my PC. Okay, so the last thing that I need for my computer, my upgrade streaming rig, is a graphics card, a CPU, and RAM. The 3 most expensive components in a build. Nice. We're getting there. Maybe I'll accidentally buy another Ryzen 9 9950X 3D. Whoops. Okay. So, we're going to run through Bradley's build before we get started on the build itself. The build command, for everybody's awareness, does work. I updated it. Up that thing up. And yeah, I had a similar build to this priced out a while ago, and it was like 2,300. Yes. Yep. Unfortunately, these prices just keep climbing. Like that SSD, for just as an example, this SSD, 4TB, back in like September, was like $200. Now they're $400. So there's some juice right there. 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL30. This stuff was about 120. Now it's almost four, what is it, like three? No, it's past 400. It's like $420 now. Welcome to the Ramageddon. The Ramageddon of 2026. We'll be talking about this to with our grandchildren. Back in my day, the Ramageddon, you had to spend $1,000 for 64 gigs of RAM. When they'll be holding 64 gigs of RAM on their pinky toe, super small micro. Jeffy Tech says, real question, would you purchase a 5090 for your channel? I don't game. No. I would not. I wouldn't even purchase a 5090 for myself. It's just unnecessary. Unless you're doing something with AI, maybe, and you're playing with it. Maybe there's an argument. Like if you're doing streams and showing people how to do stuff with AI, maybe it makes sense to do something like that. But wow, $400 now? $420, Ian, for 32 gigs of RAM. Base RAM. CL30. I mean, it's decent stuff. Not bad stuff. You paid $420 for the CL28. Yes. CL28 is now more like $450, $460 now. Creeping up towards that 500 mark. I do more editing. Yeah, I would say even in the editing department, it doesn't make sense. It's not, unless I guess if you're using that for rendering. I don't know if that actually makes that big of a difference to justify the cost for a 5090. I would say nah. I mean, the highest I would go is a 5080 for my build. And I don't even think I'm going to do that with the prices. I might even just take my 3070 Ti and continue using that. Because my biggest bottleneck right now on my streaming PC is the CPU and the RAM and the motherboard. That is the whole infrastructure, the platform is the bottleneck at this point for me. Hey, Jog. Hey, I bought some parts for my PC. Can I ask if I got a good deal? Sure. Shoot it. And welcome to the build show. I got more views on system monitors than anything else. Oh, nice. That's pretty good. Yeah, everybody has a lot of questions about monitors. So if you could become like a monitor channel and focus purely on like monitors and be the go-to monitor, like that would probably be a really good niche in this market, because there is no, like, that I'm aware of, channel that really just talks about the performance of monitors. And monitors can get stupid expensive, by the way. So, I mean, you could start reviewing monitors and find, I don't know. For me, when I look at monitors as it's a monitor. Here's its specs. It should run at those specs. I don't know. I can't tell the difference between this one and that one, and they're two different brands, but they have the same specs. So, yeah, that type of thing. I can't. I'm not a monitor snob. Maybe I have bad eyes. Ian says, my wife is on DDR5 64 gigs. 6400 was around $200 not that long ago. I know. And now it's 400 plus. I have a 3070 in my current rig, and it's the same for me. Everything is so RAM heavy lately. Yes. So when I'm streaming like this is where I'm really hurting with on memory. Oh, Tony, member for 6 months now. Shouting out. You've been a big help to me. I appreciate it. You're welcome. And thank you for being a member. And definitely let me know, Tony, if you need some help. But I think your plan with slapping that 9070 XT in the build and pulling the 5070 Ti out is going to be a good approach to troubleshooting the problem. And then if you do have to RMA it, at least you have another graphics card there where you could run the system. When you get the replacement 5070 Ti from Asus, all you'd have to do is run DDU to remove the AMD drivers and then reinstall NVIDIA drivers. And then you should be good to go. So that'll get you set up. Let's see here. Jog has not responded to that. I thought he would. Thought he did. Sorry, I missed that. My DDR4 64 gig kit in May was 105.65. Thanks for rubbing it in, Steve. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, man. I wish if I could have predicted the future, Steve, I would have bought my RAM for my system back then. Knowing that I was going to go DDR5 on an AM5 platform and just had it sitting here, I totally would have bought it and had it sitting, but I was like, I'll buy it when I'm ready. Here I am, ready, and everything's $1,000 for 64 gigs. Well, not really. There's still some kits out there that are like 600, but there's a real long wait to get them. Chevy Tech says 25070 Ti system sold today. Oh, he made some bank today then, or made some bank back. I'm sure people don't like to hear me complain. I have a 9070 XT. Yeah. Oh, my 5070 Ti doesn't work. I have to use my 9070 XT. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. I'm teasing Tony. I don't even have a backup well, I guess I have another 3070 Ti upstairs if I absolutely had to rip it out of the wife's computer, which was mine previously. What's your opinion on water cooling a processor? Chris, if you're talking about an AIO water cooling, or are we talking open loop water cooling? Those are two very different and very differently priced things. Although you could do an open loop with soft tube from a kit for relatively cheap. In fact, sometimes cheaper than the more expensive AIOs. These AIOs are getting out of hand when it comes to cost. Ian says I cut swale around my friend's house for him with a gravel driveway. The trade was he gave all his unused M.2 SSDs and DDR5 kits to me to make a fellow veteran PC for their family. Oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty dope. Oh, Jog came back. Finally, we got a response. Jog says, I got a 9070 XT, a 7800 X3D, 32 gigs DDR5. Do you happen to know the timing on that 32 gig DDR5 and speed? For example, is it 6,000 megahertz CL30, 36, 2 terabyte SSD NVMe from around $1,800. Took a bit to write it all down correctly. I feel I got a good deal, but I'm not very tuned in. So, depending on what country you live in the United States, that would be considered a decent deal. The 7800 X3D alone is like a $400 component. Well, 300 and some change. Your RAM is about $400. Your SSD is about 240, 250, somewhere around there. And your graphics card is around 600 to 700, depending on which model it is. And then you also have your cooler, your power supply. I don't know if you bought it new or used, but new, that would be a very good price. A very, very good price. I got the Wonder Vision. Their software is kind of weird. Yes, Tony, it is kind of weird. There's a learning curve to it. Once you figured out Thermoid's software, you'll be fine. It's just a little bit of a learning curve. Wrong RAM. 1098. What do you mean? No, the 9060 XT is more of a 1080p 1440p card. That's pretty much its ceiling. I mean, you could probably run 4K, but you're definitely going to be running FSR on there to speed up some of the frames. It was new. Oh, well then that's an excellent price if that was US dollars. No, the RAM's like $400. 420. I'm saying RAM is like 1098. 32 gigs, that's probably more like 400. Okay, so let's finally run through this build, shall we? And get started. All right, so the CPU for this build is an AMD Ryzen 7 9800X 3D, 8-core, 16-thread, 5.2 gigahertz max boost, which is featuring the AMD Zen 5 technology, along with the next-gen 3D V-Cache. This bad boy makes gaming look easy. We also have the CPU contact frame. Not really a massive benefit to cooling for the AMD processor, but for a part that only costs about $7 on Amazon if you know where to buy it, it's a very nice add because simply it keeps the thermal paste out of the really tight edges of the CPU, which you will see, and I'll point that out when I'm putting it in, how much cleaner it keeps it. So generally that's why I buy it, to keep the thermal paste off the sides, and it just makes it easier when you pull it out. It's not going to be as messy and sloppy. All right, next is our thermal paste, which we're going to be using the Arctic MX, I think 6, that comes with this cooler, or we have the MX4 here as well. But it's a 360 millimeter Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro, and it's in black, so kind of picking up the theme of the build. It's mostly blacked out. And it's got three 120 millimeter PWM non-addressable RGB, just black fans on it. And also the block on this one, because it's the blacked out version, does not have any RGB underneath, under where the VRM fan is on the block. Next, the motherboard is a Gigabyte B850 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi 7 motherboard. So this thing is pretty much got everything he's ever going to need, along with supporting all the hardware here, and allowing him to do some future upgrades very easily on this board. The storage that we selected, mistakenly bought two 4TB drives. Don't ask me how. I've got a 990 Evo Plus by Samsung here, which is a 4TB Gen 4 SSD, super fast. And then we also have an AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT, which is the, originally we were going to get the Gigabyte gaming OC, but instead we got the Sapphire Nitro Plus for pretty much the same price. We just had to wait for it, but it actually came a lot faster. I was talking about that earlier in the stream. It is the overclock edition, and then we also have the Montech 1050 watt, because we want all the power, which is a Century 2. For the power supply, it's 80 plus gold. It's fully modular. It is PCIe 5.0 and ATX 3.0 ready, if that matters for anybody. And then we also have a Lian Li support bracket, just in case we need it, because I'm not sure if this case has the support bracket. I think it has one built in, but the case is the Lian Li LandCool 217, which is an ATX mid tower. This is the walnut finish edition, so it has the walnut finishing around the frame on the front, and then it also has I think a couple of big fans in the front. I don't know if it's two 170 millimeters is what it says on the front. That actually might have been supposed to be 160 millimeter, and then a 140 millimeter in the rear, and then it should have two 120s in the bottom. They're all black PWM fans. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is your build for the night. Let's get started. Shall we? Oh. All right, so I was just cleaning a really dirty PC over here right before the stream. So if you see any like dust bunnies fly by, just call them out, and I'll dispose of them. Let's see here. You bought your RAM for $987. Hey, that was a good price. $987 is a really good price for 64 gigs DDR5 6400. You're also in Europe. So yes, that's why I was asking if it was US dollars, because most of the people here is going to be thinking US dollars, not European currencies, which is a big difference. Hey man, thank you for dropping the membership, 1 month membership. What's Max doing and what's for dinner? 2 questions. You got 2 questions in. Nice. All right, so Max is currently taking a Max snooze right here next to me. He's looking up at me like, bruh, could you turn it down a bit? I'm trying to snooze. And for dinner, we had Mrs. Empower's homemade. I gotta tell you, this was absolutely delicious. Homemade pepperoni pizza. Absolutely delicious. So if you're ever here and you smell Mrs. Empower's cooking, you gotta ask. Can I try it? You gotta do it. I mean, it's the reason why I'm probably 40 pounds overweight. A little girl, what Ian says, a little girl made me install Peerless Assassin with digital screen. Oh, your little girl. Got it. My little girl had me install the Peerless Assassin with the digital screen in white. Save me. I am outnumbered. My son moved out. Oh, please. I've been outnumbered since I got married. I've been outnumbered. All I've got is girls. 3 daughters. Lord save me. Lord grant me patience. Now, so far, I gotta say, for all the women in this house, at least right now, all the ladies and girls in my house, in this house, I'm doing pretty good. I'm still here. But now you know why I stream, go to my own corner and build PCs. Yeah, I mean, that's very similar to this build, correct? 1,800 euros versus 3,100 US dollars. I don't know what that would actually translate to. I don't know what the conversion rate is. I'm not familiar with European currencies right now. Like, if you asked me 10 years ago, I probably would have been able to spit it out because I was a nerd about that kind of stuff. I don't know what's changed since. So, I don't know. You've been building for a long time. Remember 16 gigs of RAM being $150 and $175 for a long... Yeah, well, that was because you could run an operating system off of, 512 kilobytes. No, you can run an operating system on like 1 gigabyte and still have wiggle room for a game. You didn't need 16 gigs. 16 gigs was like us equivalent to having 128 today. It was just insanely like, why? Why do you need that much RAM? You'll never need that much RAM. Here we are trying to like just scrape by with 32 gigs. Happy wife you got? Yes. Tony sent 5 gifted memberships. Damn. Thank you, Tony. So, AW Dodd, AWD, AWD, I think that's his name. Morrison and Shrivard and Gamers. Shrivard Han Gamers. Shrivard Han Guns. Jeez, just stop me. Anderson and William Cross all got the gifted memberships from Tony. I'm sorry, some of the names that I have to read on YouTube, guys, absolute tongue twister. You go try it. You tell me how that's pronounced properly and read it live. When you have 2x glasses on trying to read a monitor that's about 8 feet away. And it's a 32-inch monitor, 1440p, by the way. Now I'm still shocked. Ben said 987 RAM is a good price. No, it's not. I never said it was a good price. I just said, okay, not bad. It is not a good price. Did I say it was a good price? If I did, I didn't mean it. Maybe I was just trying to make you feel better. Idiot! Don't spend that much money. Would you rather me just say that? Idiot! Why would you spend $987 on... I won't spend that on 64 gigs of RAM. That should be saying something. That's what I'm trying to get for my upgrade for my upgraded stream rig. My new stream rig. And haven't found 64 gigs of RAM for less than like $600. And I'm about to just go buy a pre-build just to rip the RAM out, even though it's going to be probably garbage RAM, and then flip the pre-build, and then I'll get free RAM. You rang? I rang. You did. Okay, well, maybe I was trying to make you feel better. That is stupid. Oh. 1 second, guys. I gotta go say goodnight to a little miss. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's actually get started on the build. Oh, well, that's why it was $900. I'm sorry, $1,000. Also, I don't know if you're in the United States or not. So, could be that price, not in US dollars, somewhere else, like in Canada, for example. I think he meant it was good price now, but actually it's kind of high. I think you could have got it for $859. Even $859 is kind of high. I don't think I would spend 64 gigs of RAM. I don't want to spend anything more than like $580, $550 right now. That to me is a fair price with all the geysers going on. Those are really hard to find. It's kind of the situation. If you want it now, you have to pay for it now. I heard somebody call. Oh, because I said idiot. I wasn't actually calling for you, some giant idiot. I was calling somebody your name in a very sarcastic way. Hopefully he doesn't get. Hopefully you don't get offended. I know it's all. I mean, what are we gonna do? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? I can't make up price. I can't make these prices do. My hands are tied, guys. We know you were. We know. I know you were joke. I know. I'm going on with it. Everybody's on me for calling, for saying $1,000 is a good price for RAM. 64 gigs of RAM, $1,000, good price. There. You saw me say it. Now clip it and spin it around the internet so I can get famous from all the hate. The more you buy, the more you save. Remember. That is an NVIDIA quote, by the way. All right, so let's get a nice zoomed in look here of the CPU installation. Yeah. All right, so we're going to be installing the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D. Absolute fantastic. Regardless of people saying, "Oh, my CPU died." Well, all right. Before anybody brings up the fact that all these CPUs are dying, chew on this. Think about this for a second, okay? And the amount of Intel CPUs compared to the amount of AMD CPUs that failed, there are probably 10 times more people purchasing AMD CPUs than there are people purchasing Intel CPUs. And these are gamers, you know, they're pushing these CPUs to their limits and probably doing some crap they're probably not supposed to be doing to their CPU and not telling anybody that, but they're just going out Reddit, oh, my CPU randomly died. I'm not trying to defend AMD, but you need to think about that. There is a much larger sample rate out in the market of these CPUs versus the Intel CPUs. So you're going to have a much higher failure rate. There's still going to be a percentage of failures in lemons. That's always existed. That never changed. That's always happened. Even back in when Intel was the best and AMD was trash, like during the first gen Ryzen and the Intel i9 9900K was like the king, especially for content creators. That CPU, the i9, I ran into more lemons on the 9900K, brand new out of the box. Before I ran into, I probably ran into like 4 before I ran into a single AMD Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 CPU that was a lemon out of the box. So my point is, it depends on the sample size. It goes both ways. The more CPUs you have out there in the market, the higher failure rate you'll have. And that goes for any product. Same thing with like Ford producing vehicles. The more Fords that are out on the road, the higher your failure rate's going to be of something. It's just what it is. Everybody's making it a big freaking deal about burning out. Now I have to deal with questions. So I read on Reddit and I saw on YouTube. Well, that's what's going on. Just so everybody's aware. That's why we see the, oh my gosh, there's like 100. Seriously, it's like, it's not even like hundreds of thousands of CPUs are dead. It's just like a handful of them compared to what's actually out there. I actually don't know the statistic behind the actual number. So if anybody is aware, feel free to share it. Ian says, I tried selling my wife on eBay, but they said the listing was too powerful for their platform. Jeez. That's kind of messed up, man. I'd starve if I sold my wife. We sold Mrs. Empower on eBay. One, that is so messed up. That sounds so messed up. Number 2, I would starve. What are you talking about? Dog shit, PSU, die really quick. That is so shady. Buy a pre-built computer with a 5070 Ti in it, swap it out. You got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. A lot of manufacturers and system integrators now start tracking serial numbers for that kind of crap. Just so you're aware. Especially after the Ethereum mining debacle back in 2020. That started around then. They track serial numbers, and those serial numbers are tied to the serial number of the machine you purchased. So they pull that serial number and it spits out all the serial numbers that should be in there. Technically, you got to be careful about that. I track serial numbers because it's happened to me. And it was so shady. The 50, or not the 50, the 3070 that was sent back to me. And it was so shady that the serial number sticker was actually ripped off the card. I'd mentioned, or in my policy, it mentioned that we tracked serial numbers. So they were so shady about it, the card wouldn't post, and there was no sticker proving the serial number. So when I sent it to ASUS with the serial number that I thought was supposed to be, they sent it back and said it was the wrong serial number. And that I didn't purchase it. I didn't have proof of purchase for that card. And they gave me shit about that, which was kind of crazy, but at the same time, true. So I couldn't prove when it was purchased. And therefore it did not get repaired, and therefore I was out at that time. 3070s at that time were like $600. Let's just say we haven't heard from that person in a long time. Anyway. Next, now that we've got our really nice shiny red Thermalright contact frame installed, which this is what I was talking about when I was saying it pretty much just keeps the sides of the CPU cleaned. It hugs the CPU really nice, and it keeps the thermal paste from bleeding down into the cracks there and making it a big mess. Alright, so next we are installing a Cleve Bolt 5 6000 MHz CL30 32 gig kit of DDR5 RAM. By the way, this packaging is like super convenient. You just pop this out on the back and you pull. Super convenient to access this RAM. No, do not buy those 5090s for $900. Those are 100% scams. %. That's new to me. They've been around for a while. I just didn't really build with them until the Ramageddon. And then I tried them out, and I actually really like them so far. I think they are SK Hynix. Let me see if I can find that out quickly. Does not specify here, but I'm pretty sure this is SK Hynix. They are both AMD Expo and Intel Expo certified memory kits. So the downside is they don't have very many 64 gig kits, and it's pretty much all just 32 that's available, which I don't blame them. It's kind of a nightmare. Oh, we forgot. I gotta install the SSD and a little bit of a brain fart, guys. Don't judge me. It's been a long day. All right, so next we're going to install our 4 terabyte Samsung 990 EVO Plus SSD. Nice. Most likely it's a brick in a box for $900. It's not a 5090. Not going to be a 5090, guys. Do not buy that. If any of you buy that, I want to see the picture of the brick that you get in the mail. Cyborg, what's up? I'm gonna have a rough night tonight. Typically, I go to bed around now. Oh no. Hopefully it's not because of me. try to go as quickly as I can for you. You can always watch the VOD as well. But I have to stay up. No, you're good. Don't kill yourself because... You're telling me Best Buy stores is overpriced? Question mark. As if you're shocked. Absolutely. Hey, don't miss. Yes, my new build is about 3,600. That's not bad. Not bad. I might have been able to buy a 5080 build for that maybe a year ago. No, maybe like 6 months ago. I want to have near the parts that I have gotten there. Not even close. Yeah, you wouldn't have half the stuff that you have there. Hey, what's up, Coral? Welcome back to the build show. No, it's not you. I have a type 1 diabetes. I'm sorry. And my Dexcom sensor is faulty, so it's making me seem like my blood sugar is all over the place. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Best Buy? Never. I was just about to say I may fall asleep during the stream. I wake up at 4 a.m., but I wanted to be here for the start at least. LOL. Take a nap. I'll try to yell. To be honest, Bradley, we're probably going to be an hour away from booting up. About an hour. So it's 9:45 right now, probably around 10:45. All right, so next we are going to do not the contact. We're going to remove the stock brackets, mounting brackets for the cooler, and we're going to install the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro mounting brackets, which does have offset mounting for the cooler. So we do need to break out the Liquid Freezer 3 box and get the brackets out, which I'm probably just going to get the case or the whole cooler out of the box at this point, because why not? Okay, and so for this, you've just got these little black plastic studs that go on the studs. They're like little spacers. And then you have two brackets for AMD. You have a left bracket and a right bracket, and they are stamped right and left. You always make sure the right's on the right and the left is on the left. Assuming the top of the board facing away from you and the bottom of the board is facing you. That is your right and left. And then we add the screws to the brackets. And then use your screwdriver to mount it. Same thing with the right side. And this is the thermal paste that we'll use, which is the MX6. We also have MX4 here. Outside of that, this motherboard is ready to go in the case, so we can bust that out. Side here and zoom us out, so you're not zoomed in onto a box, or at least top of the case. Noah, welcome back to the build show. Anybody else that I miss? Noah says, is Asus going to make RAM, or is that just a rumor? I actually don't know. I couldn't tell if that was a rumor or not, to be honest. Looks real, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I've been using Linux now for a while. Maybe when Windows Update stops breaking things, I might give it a chance again. You know, we haven't... I'm going to knock on some wood. Windows hasn't broken anything lately that I'm aware of. So, it's been behaving, at least for the past couple of months. You were going to buy the Montech power supply, but the delivery was too long, so I went with the ASRock 1000 watt. I got for 129. I don't know if I would have done the ASRock power supply. I can't remember what those are like. But I mean, as long as it's 80 plus gold, I guess. I don't know what tier level they land at or which model it is. Use IoT Windows 11. There you go. All right. See if this is a brick inside the box. Sounds like something is loose. Huh. Something is definitely loose in the tower, or in the case. Oh, it's just one of those plastics. Okay, I feel better about the situation then. All right, so this is the Landcool 217 walnut with the walnut wood finishing around the edges. Really kind of a bleak case. This does have the GPU support bracket on it, so we definitely don't need that other one unless this doesn't fit the card right. This definitely broke loose. Supposed to be zip tied here, so this definitely took a pretty big hit. I'm going to look at it a little bit closer. In transit. It definitely took a hit. So let's just look it over a little bit. The first thing that we noticed is this plastic piece was popped out. Pops back in right here. Not that big of a deal. The force of the impact probably just broke it loose. Put it around inside the case a little bit. Probably filling these till last. But everything else appears to be pretty square. Everything seems to be pretty square. So, even though it looks like it took a pretty big hit and things jostled loose, that comes apart anyway. Everything looks good. Corners look good, feet look good. The frame looks square. I mean, I really don't see anything wrong with it. We do need to take the top off. Okay, so now that we've broken it down, we could probably drop the board in here, get that installed, and move on. Make sure there's no peels that I missed. Make sure all our studs are in. That's really nice. Did you mention that I have 13 Infinity fans? I did not mention that, but Tony has 13 Infinity fans in his build, which is absolutely the definition of infinity for fans. Whoa! Is that a DVD tray? It is not a DVD tray. No, sir. That is a hard drive slot. I believe that's a hard drive slot tray in the front. Vibing to the background music, nice. Yeah, it's good stuff. I like that case a lot. I love those big fans. Hell yeah. They're massive. You're gonna head to bed. Y'all have a fantastic night. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out with us for a little bit, Noah. Appreciate you as always. Make sure you come back around. Y'all come back now, you hear? You life the wood finish. Auto. Yes, IoT. Win 11 is fine for gaming. Great RAM utilization too. That's a good point. No, it says I'll text you on the channel tomorrow sometime. If you remember the vintage sleeper computer case, I was finding parts like motherboard, GPU, RAM, SSD, and PSUs and others. Oh, okay. Yeah, feel free to shoot me a message there on the channel. Otto says that they tried Linux and the majority of what I use, or what they use, was not compatible. Really have to configure things out. Depends on what version. But yeah, I'm lazy. IoT Win 11 is fine for me, and I just do security updates because it's unlicensed. LOL. Nice. Tony. There he is. Hello, brother. Roy. Hey, he's been around. We just had a pretty busy chat. This computer should do any type of gaming, 2K, 3K, 4K, even on the highest of settings, Steve Anderson says. Tony's not going to bed. It's, leaving. It was Noah that was leaving, and Tony is saying goodbye to Noah. I think Windows 10 is still receiving security patches IoT. Right? That specific version still gets security patches. Okay, so now that we've got the motherboard installed, we can get the front panel connectors in. We've got USB 3 here, we've got USB-C here, front panel power, some PWM fans down here and here. Our HD audio is over here, as well as any addressable RGBs down there, but we don't have any RGB to worry about. We'll get all that plugged in, and then we'll probably get a power supply in here, which is going to be a reversed mount. I just realized that this case does that. Completely forgot about that. Does have the option, I believe, for a traditional mount if you needed it. But I don't think we will. USB-C to... Okay. Oops. Front panel connector. That was the HD audio, I'm an idiot. This one's USB. Nice. Good job, man. Alright. Come down to the bottom. Well, you got a hub with addressable RGB and PWM connectors for the fans here at the top. We are going to run these actually all down to the bottom here. Because we do have all those connectors down here. There we go. Put this back over. Well, this is kind of a pain. Got a weird feeling about that. That was a little tricky to get in there. USB 3 on the side. Audio. And then our front panel power connectors are all in. So we've got all of our front panel stuff connected and our fans. So that's all good to go. Next, we can get our EPS cables in. And maybe our 24 pin in from our power supply. And then we could proceed with installing an AIO. While we're at it, we'll get the VRM fan, pump, and CPU fan connectors on. Headers filled out here. I always forget this board only has the 2. So VRM is going to have to go somewhere else. We're actually probably just going to throw it on the hub right now until I figure out what I'm going to do with it. If I have an extension, I'll use that, extend it down to fan header 2. Those are where all the connectors are. There's no other connector anywhere near it. Nowhere near it. There's only 2 up here on this board. I thought there were more. I didn't realize that. Make it work. I got extensions, I think. We absolutely need it. Hey, what's up, Pyro? Welcome to the Build Show. It's actually exclamation point build. B-U-I-L-D. If you want the specs of this build. Tony says, it's just frustrating. Everything on my build went so well. And then that's, well, actually, Tony, to be honest, that is probably the easiest thing to have go wrong. Probably most expensive component to have, you know, not work, but you can RMA it. It's the easiest thing because it's one component, it's easy to access. At least you don't have to, like, take a cooler out or take a CPU out or, God forbid, the motherboard. That is demoralizing. Way more demoralizing. I had to do that quite a few times. What's your favorite PC case to build in general? Well, brand, I mean. Me? If you're asking me that question, I would say Montech is probably, or you know what, no, Height definitely is the easiest to build in. Probably my favorite. Height, I would say Height. For brand. Especially their the Y70 and the Y60s are really nice to build in. Really easy, except for the clearance. There's like one thing I don't like, and that's the clearance where they have the angled glass and it kind of cuts into the cooler. And if you have a slightly longer than normal AIO radiator cooler with hoses in a weird spot, it doesn't like to fit, so you have to be aware of that. But I mean, if you can work around that, it's a great case. The reason I build my own computers is because all of them can be upgraded. That's a good point. You can also start with a pre-build and upgrade that. Or have somebody else build it for you. These are our EPS cables for the CPU power that we need to plug in. Run these cables. And get these plugged in before we put the AIO in, as it becomes kind of a nightmare once you get up here with the AIO in there. The Height X50 is okay. You don't have chubby fingers. Well, I kind of have chubby fingers. Not gonna lie. Fingers are not pristine. They're not chubby, they're just bulky. Beast. I don't know. What do you guys think? I just made another one older for a fractal, for the fractal torrent design. Oh, nice. Yeah, the fractal torrent's another good one. Another good case. I do like that one. Fractal in general is pretty premium design in my opinion. Probably also more for the enthusiast. He said, stay away, Best Buy, of scams. I just made another order of a fractal. Oh yeah, we just read that one. Steve Eder, not just Apple, Dell also have been doing it for a while now. We're doing what? Doing like frameworks, laptops, all can be upgraded. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, a lot of brands have been making it so you can't upgrade, so you have to go back and buy a new one. You see that? You see what they did there? Specifically, Apple makes it a very big pain in the butt. Do something as simple as upgrade the RAM in an all-in-one unit. The RAM is literally on the back of the computer. This is something of my own experience. I looked it up and I was like, man, it doesn't look too bad. You had to take the screen off, literally rip the board apart, flip the board around out of the chassis to get to the RAM. All they would have had to do is put in an access panel in the back of the case, the chassis, and you would have been able to just upgrade the RAM from there. Absolutely annoying. So a 5 or 10 minute job turned into, it was like a whole day process because I ended up breaking the screen. I would say it was probably about an 8-hour job after breaking the screen, taking it apart, looking it over again. Didn't know I had broken the screen yet. Put the screen back together, and it was because you have to separate the glue on the edges. And I don't know, so at some point I must have broke the screen, but if you looked at it, it looked pristine. There was no breaks, cracks, nothing. It just decided to stop working after I took it apart. Of course. So I had to buy the guy another, and it was a touchscreen, so it was like a $400 screen to get the replacement part. And guess where? The only place you could buy it. Guess. The ripoff store. So I had to buy a replacement screen for that job. So that being said, that was one of my last Apple repairs or services I've ever done. I won't do it again. I refuse. So everybody that calls me, hey, I got an Apple and I want to see if I can put, and I'm like, no, nope, not an Apple store. Go call Apple. You bought an Apple. You want the Apple experience. Go have the full Apple experience. I'm not getting screwed to work on your Apple. So, Apple. Anybody recall the Hackintosh? No, I do not recall that. I know what you're talking about. Have you ever built an Apple computer? No. I have not, and I refuse. The closest thing is maybe running Linux. You could consider that Apple. iOS. Okay. So now that we've got these power cords installed, we could probably put this in and hope that it's not too bad. But this has got to be one of the easiest AIOs to install. It is so to install because you don't have to deal with any of these cables. All of these cables run down to the block through their setup here, and then you plug this into the block, and then that's all your connectors. Done. Done. Simple. I think the most difficult part is going to be getting this started because we're going to be dealing with washers, and I also don't know if the height of these, if this is sunk enough to have the washers or not. We'll find out. Get 2 of these with washers going. Not sitting there looking like an absolute idiot trying to hold it while installing this. Still probably gonna look like somewhat of an idiot. Okay, we got 2 corners started, which allows me to take my hands away from the AIO. Good cables for an AIO. Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's very simple. Which is what I really, really, truly like about the Arctic liquid freezers, is how simple the cables are to deal with. Once you get it plugged in and installed, it's like good to go. Like 2 connections after that. Beautiful case, Astral. Welcome back to the build show. Thank you. Yeah, it's a Lian Li Landcool 216 or 217. It is a stunning case. I tell people no all the time if they want me to work on their laptop. I tell them the parts and my hands don't do well. Yeah, I don't blame you. I can work on laptops. I don't mind that. Those are still within reason. Still a pain in the butt, especially some of these newer ones. Pain in the butt to work on or service. And every time you take apart one of the newer laptops, you break a plastic tab, and every time you take it apart, the more likelihood it's not going to go back together without some glue. Technically, with these 8 screws in, this is more than enough to hold this, but I am going to fill out the 2. And it looks like I did leave 2 holes here covered up, but I'm not really going to worry about that. It's pretty centered up. I was eyeballing it on the side here. Looks like we could slide it back a little bit more, but not worried about it. You don't necessarily need to put all those in, but I do. As many as I did. All right, now let's see if our top is going to go back on. Good. That whole area was countersunk quite a bit there, so it does go back on nice and easy. Nice and easy. Right. And now for the resistance. Get our thermal paste on there and then mount this thing. You know, this paste is shot. You push on it and it's not coming out. Probably clogged or dried up. I'm not going to use that. What just happened? Okay. Apparently, I was missing. This got to be really difficult case because of the hub placement. So man, feel like it should not have been that difficult. Easy cases to GPU, yes. Easy latch here for the GPU release. Really nice, it's fancy. I do like that G2 Noctua is offset more up. Oh yeah, the Noctua has more of an offset, that is true. These cases remind me of the old TV box stations with all this wood. Nice. At the store today to see them prices. Yeah. I knew what you meant. Best Buy offers various RTX 5070 gaming PCs with prices typically ranging from around $1,800 to over $2,500 depending on the CPU, RAM, storage, and brand. Yes. And then Tony says, "Are you meeting 5080s? Are you meeting 5080s? I've seen them around that price. I've seen 5080s or 5070s, I think is what he said. We're still around 600 high, $500. 600 high, $500, Chris. Okay, I think what he's saying is that he's seen 5070s for around 600 to 500s. Whoopee, what's up, man? Welcome to the build. Yep, just checked Amazon, 5070 going up there too. Dang, got it for $550 a week ago. Good call, because yeah, all the GPUs are going to go up in price. Once you start seeing the 5090 go up in price, the 5080 goes up, and then it's just a trickle effect down the line until they're all up. 5060 is probably the only one that's not going to increase. And maybe the 5060 Ti 8GB. Everything else is going to go up. Everything more than 8 gigs of VRAM, probably going to increase. Oh, that's pretty good, Roy. Yeah, the 5070 over on Zotac, or for Zotac, $539 open box with the 2-year warranty. That's pretty good. I saw the 5090 Astral beginning at $4,000 where I live. That's about what it is over here. It's like $4,400. It's ridiculous. Yes, it is extremely ridiculous. Ian says, I'll keep my RX 6800 XT for a little while longer. Yeah, I mean, 6800 XT is still a great card. Won't you guys... But don't worry, guys. They're re-releasing the 3060. Don't forget it. Yes, that is NVIDIA's plan. Super plan. We'll give you the 3060. It's the most popular card according to Steam. That's because nobody's willing to spend the money to upgrade. That's why they did that. You know that, right? They looked at Steam. They're like, oh, the 3060 is still the most popular card. Because everybody bought it. Because it was, you know, the cheapest 12 gig card you can get. Now look at us. Now look at where we're at. NVIDIA's stupid. What is 32 gigabytes DDR5 6000 now in the US? It's about $420 for a base kit with CL30 timing. I got a 4070 for sale that I'm going to keep it. I got a 4070 for sale that I'm going to keep it forever. I think you said, I don't know what you said there, 420? That's not too bad. It's about the same price here. If you want good popcorn, get an air popper. Every kernel popped. Don't get microwave popcorn. Yuck. Oh yes, yeah. The air popper is the way to go if you're gonna do popcorn. And then you just buy the cheaper bulk popcorn bucket of the seeds, and then you just pour it in there. Pour some butter on it after you pop it. Super easy, actually. Way more convenient, in my opinion, than the microwave popcorn. And when it's done popping, it isn't like 10,000 degrees because it's already aired out. It's not stuck in a bag full of heat where you burn the crap out of your hand. Yeah, you can repurpose it. Don't sell it unless you need to. I tend to keep all my PC parts and to make servers. I keep all mine because I hand them down to my kids. Which site to go to not so overpriced on a PC? Micro Center. Micro Center is the place to go to, but you need one nearby you. And I don't know that you have one nearby. As mentioned before, Micro Center is probably going to be the best priced place. If you're talking about website, maybe Newegg can be considered a PC store website that you can go to, but it's definitely going to be overpriced. And sometimes the return process sucks. Okay, so now that we've got all of this installed, we I feel like these peel off. Probably should before we put. Unfortunately, there's a peel on each of these fan blades that I just caught. Who would have thunked they were there? I mean, really, we could just drop a graphics card in at this point. You guys ready to see this Nitro Plus go in here? The Sapphire Nitro Plus AMD Radeon 9070 XT overclock. Can't post links here. Yeah, you could join the Discord channel and post links there if you'd like. I miss Fries. Yeah, Fries was another good one. Max is like, what the fuck? Max is sitting here looking at me like, what did you do that for, man? The magnetic backplate. How fancy. Always scares me when those... I actually take those off if I ship this. If I were to ship this, I take it off. The Behemoth. It does come with its own support bracket and the splitter cable, but we don't need that. We don't need either of those, actually. I'm going to plug in the RGB cable, though. Because I want him to be able to control the RGB from the motherboard software or from the Nitro software. And this over here, this over here. This up. Oh. This is definitely a 3-slot card. Oh my gosh. Where do I even start this? I might move that over one. Probably fine there. I just wanted to see what it looked like there. How that was going to fit, but we need that off in order to get to the power cord and the RGB cable. So our power cord is down in here. So is our RGB cable here. So I'm going to run both of those from the graphics card to the back. I guess the only other thing I could have done that would have made this easier is if I had done this before I put the card in. Go. One of those cables in. Okay. Now we need power supply cable. No, it's really not that tight, honestly. I don't think I want it. Afraid to twist this cable weight. Pull this back. It rotated and push it back through the way I want it versus trying to fight it. That is what it will look like. Power cable on. I know their port bracket really isn't holding anything yet. Leveled it. That is what it will look like without the back cover. And that is what it looks like with the cover. A little bulge up because of the cable, the way it bends to get out. Couldn't get it to go any flatter. I might play with it later. All right. Now, the power supply installed. Well, that was fun. That card looks really good. Oh yeah, wait until we get it flipped around and you can get a full side view of it. Almost done here, guys. We just got to get this power supply installed. Do a little bit of cable management, and then we can fire this up. Ian says, do you ship a large GPU installed? No, absolutely not. That GPU would definitely come out. If we were shipping it, it comes out. Join the Discord. Oh yeah, thanks Tony. I put up a new build picture on the Discord. Show off your builds. You might want to check it out. It's pretty cool. Thanks, Tony, for posting that link too. So we routed the power cable. I'm trying to keep this as unbent as possible. We're going to make sure our power supply is turned on because it'll plug into the back here. That is. Bottom in the back. And then I'm going to keep Smart Zero Fan off. I want this power supply to be running. But that's how it looks when you do the side mount. Brake goes back on like so. Slides in, one thumb screw to hold it in. Easy. Very easy. Then we rotate the beast, lay it down, and literally all of our connectors are here and ready for us to plug in. Which makes it really easy. Super easy. Super convenient, super easy. Should be a breeze to cable manage this. I'll probably dick around with it for way too long. But that's me. Can't help myself. Can't help that I'm a perfectionist. Oh, and I forgot to get this. Run it right up this run here. Sync to the motherboard. Oh, Tony, over on the Twitch, also doing a tier 1 gifted sub. Thank you, sir. Lean Lee cases are great, yes. Chris, you have 15 points. Ben, what's up, my guy? What's up? How's it going? No news is good news, right? Tony, thanks for the gift of sub. Yeah, much appreciated, Tony, for getting Astro 5090, the gift of sub over there. Those emotes make me laugh all the time. The day I made those, I was like, oh, that's funny. And make it petting a computer. Alright guys, I'm probably, crap. Probably dicking around with this way too long, like I told you I would. For the record, I did tell you I would be doing this. Oh, come on. Try it out loud. Nice little camera bump for you guys to see if you're still paying attention. I'll check it out. Don't worry, Tony. Before I fall asleep tonight, I will go look at it. We'll just let that sit there. And, yeah. There is clean build. Nice and clean. I probably could have done red cables going all the way up here, but it's late. This looks pretty clean. Look good. I think this is the best build that you've ever done. What? Well, thank you. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate the kind words. Let's fire it up. Fired it up. Not to blow smoke. You did a good job with the cables. Thank you. I tried. For what it's worth. Not too shabby for the limited time there. Then I am going to put all the extra cables from the power supply. Go back with the extra parts. Oh yeah. See, that's why I shouldn't have peeled those until after. Nice fingerprints there. And it's picking up all the dust from moving it back and forth on the mat. Like a dust magnet. Okay, for the record, that is your power button right there. If you ever come back and watch this again. Bradley. Bradley. Bradley! I don't know if he's still awake. He did say he was going to go to sleep. He said he gets up at like 4 in the morning, something like that. Wouldn't be surprised if we lost him to the sleep. Disease. All right. So maybe we'll have to do it on behalf of. There we go. That's centered up nice. Power button looks lonely. It does. I think we were at 3,100. Tony, I think is what it came out to, this build, which isn't too bad. Should have been cheaper, obviously, if it was a couple months ago. Intel, it's the only way. You need green zip ties to go with your theme, Ben. I do have green zip ties. Somewhere over here. But I do have green ones. Let her rip, Tater Chip. Everybody, on behalf of Bradley, who is unfortunately probably sleeping, missing this moment because he has to get up at 4 in the morning. On behalf of Bradley, this one's for you. Let's punch it. Unless Bradley is here, please make yourself known. I mean, we've been talking about it for a few minutes here. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh. You were going to say 32? Yeah, you were close. Very close. That was after taxes and all that, too. Build number 7 for Bradley. Is it a success? I don't know yet. We haven't posted. Green keyboard light, monitor. Enable X3D turbo mode to boost gaming performance. Can't see the monitor, I know. I do have a capture card. Just doesn't like to capture BIOS. Which was literally the whole reason why I bought it. And then I found out it doesn't like capturing the resolution of the BIOS. It just straight up says nothing's displaying. We are going to the BIOS. Head and see. Screen popping up there off to the left-hand side. But we're in the BIOS. Not that you can see all of it. I have too much crap behind the monitor to spin it around. Where I put all my zip ties. I've got a plethora of zip ties over there. I almost ran out this year and then I overbought. You really like it, but it needs a little bit more light. Yes, I agree. It needs a little bit more light to kind of show its beauty, but he specifically wanted an all blacked out build. I don't know if I can get. I don't know if that really helps put any light on the subject, but we're all blacked out in there. It's 11:13. I was almost on the dot. I was 13 minutes off. I told him it'd be about, well, I guess I was 20-ish minutes off because I played around with the cable management a little bit too much. Yes, congratulations, Bradley, on the build. It is behemoth that you will enjoy for days to come. Now, we got to do the BIOS update, do the Windows install, and all that fun jazz. And then we'll probably have it ready for pickup at some point tomorrow, probably later in the evening. FYI, just wait for the email notification do not just show up randomly until you know for sure it is ready for pickup. Had people do that before. Show up and be like, I'm here to pick up. And I'm like, you not done yet. And it's probably got 2 more hours left of me messing around with it. Because I do go through a battle tested phase, is what I call it. And that is where I'm literally testing the crap out of everything in order to certify it. Meaning saying to certify it as battle tested, quote unquote, for me, it has to pass every single test, which is memory test, CPU test, GPU test, cooling, everything. And then checklist of, is Secure Boot enabled, is XMP or AMD Expo enabled, is the fan curve set, is the RGB syncing, is the Wi-Fi working, is the Ethernet port working, is the USB ports working, are all the display ports working? All of that must be checked. Just as an example. So that is the only way it gets certified, is if it passes all of those tests, and all of those tests take time. So please be patient. It is to ensure that we have a perfect machine when it goes out. Yes, so I did specifically, you have 2 options with the GPU RGB. Go into Ian's question, can you turn off the RGB in the GPU? The Sapphire Nitro Plus specifically has an RGB synchronization cable. You can connect that to the motherboard and then use your motherboard software to shut off or control the RGB. The other option is to download the Nitro or Sapphire software and control the RGB that way from a separate software. But the benefit is, if you synchronize it from the cable to the motherboard, if you had any other RGB in the system that was also running through the motherboard RGB, you'd be able to just run all the RGB from one program versus one being from the Nitro Sapphire software, and then the other one being from the Gigabyte software, and then another one from another software, etc. It just makes it a lot easier to synchronize and control it. So I'll probably put the software on there for him so you could decide which one he wants to use. But for the most part, it is pretty easy to manage the RGB. Don't forget to put the date on it. Oh yeah, I could do that. I was actually hoping that Bradley was here, but I could put it on the back side of the panel, actually. Actually, let's do that, right? Switch back to top down. Wrong top down. Send me over there. We don't put the date. We actually put the build number and the year. So this is build number 7 for 2026, and then I sign it. Usually I do it on the back side of the panel or the back side of the computer, depending on where they want me to put it. But if I put it on the back side, the inside of the panel, it's hard to see if they didn't want it there, for example. Want to make sure it is number 7. So there it is, build number 7, 2026. All right, Bradley. I know you're not here, and you're probably sleeping, catching those Z's, but it is built, and I look forward to getting it finished up for you tomorrow. Tony says, I mean, if you went with the graphic card that had no light, okay, now it's just all dark. I mean, the reason why we went with this card, Tony, is because this is one of the best cards. It just so happens to have RGB on it, and the reason why I made sure we plugged that RGB cable in is so we could shut the RGB off, so he could just shut it all off. Yeah, I know, I hear you. Different people with different flavors. Not everybody likes vanilla ice cream. Not everybody likes chocolate ice cream. Some people like vanilla and chocolate mixed. You know? We went through this build pretty thoroughly, so he knew what he was looking for. Build date should be best. Okay, I get it, but it sure would look cool. Oh yeah, definitely it would look cool. We'll do another build with the 97 with the same 9070 XT soon. Don't worry. I'm sure. With RGB. Steve Anderson says, my Tough Gaming GPU 7090 XT. Love the RGB on it. It's icy blue right now. Nice. Nice. Nice and icy blue. Ian says it's on fire, Bradley. He cooked it. Wake up. Nice try, Ian. Nice try. Exclamation point, wake up. I don't think that does anything. If it does, please let me know, and then I'll have to fix it. Frozen Fusion, welcome to the build show. Intel is the only way over on the Kick chat. Nah, blacked out looks slick. Won't need RGB software ragging down on your system. Yeah, exactly. It's all blacked out. Oh. It's his flavor. It's what we wanted. It's what we got. All right, guys. Oh, Killa, welcome back to the build show. Didn't catch you over there. Thanks for popping in. Another W. I know, it's just... No, I hear you, Tony. You know, if he ever wants to change the fans out, we can always do that. Great looking PC, perfect amount of RGB. The perfect amount of RGB. Actually, that's a good line. I like that. Cozy PC. Yes, cozy. Who says something very similar? It's who's that electrician electrical repair dude? What is his name? And he always says the perfect amount of thermal paste in his videos. That's where that reminded me of. Anybody know who I'm thinking of? I first saw him on Facebook. I don't know if he still streams or not, or still does videos, content. Was late to the stream working on business statistics. Interesting, but not my cup of tea. I hear ya. Go Seahawks this weekend, Steve says. So shout out to the Seahawks. All right, guys. That's it. Good night. I'll go look at it at the Newegg website for the computer. Yeah, take a look at that. Girlfriend here. He's going to be so excited in the morning. Awesome. I'm glad somebody was able to catch it. If I would have known you were here, I would have asked you to do it in his honors. To tell us to fire it up. But I didn't catch that you were here. So, yes, guys, that is it for tonight. I agree. It is bedtime. It is time to go hit the sack. And we'll attack this tomorrow at full force. And get this ready for pickup at some point later in the evening tomorrow. But that being said, Friday, we'll be back. Tomorrow we're not streaming. Friday we will be back. We'll be doing a blue and a white. Ryzen? I think we did Ryzen. It's been so long. It's been sitting here for so long because we're waiting for a case that was back ordered for like a month and a half. And they specifically wanted that case. And I kept asking, I'm like, do you guys want to switch up? Here's a different case. And they're like, no, we'll wait. I'm like, okay. So here we are. Case finally came in, but it's a blue and a white. It's a Montech King 95 Pro blue, and all the internals are going to be white. So it's going to look really dope. So that will be Friday's build stream. And then if we get enough time, we'll try to squeeze in a build stream on the weekend. But it's going to be unlikely. It's probably going to be another Monday, Wednesday, Friday build stream week. Trying to make that my normal schedule going forward, because that gives me just enough time to recoup through the weekend and be a little bit fresh, and I can catch up on everything and focus on service on the weekend when I really, that's usually when it's really busy for service wise, is on the weekend, because everybody's at home not working generally. So yeah, that's the schedule. So if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel and you want to join the Discord, feel free. Type in !Discord in the chat to receive the Discord link. It's a great place to hang out. Lots of friendly people there. Great place to ask questions, especially if you're looking for an answer and we're not streaming, we're not here on the stream. You can go to the Discord and drop the question there. Bunch of people game there. Sometimes you'll see me gaming in there, and you're more than welcome to jump in and join. And yeah, overall, it's a really fun community. Just make sure you follow the rules. Keep it clean. And with that being said, everybody, we are done for the night. I will see you guys on Friday. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out and watching Bradley's build. We'll see you Friday night. Take care, guys. Happy Hump Day!